Hi guys! Before we start learning with this new topic, subscribe po muna kayo and don't forget to click that bell button para laging updated sa mga latest kaganapan dito sa ating channel. Comment na rin kayo if you have requests or questions. Happy learning!
Okay, so good day everyone. So we will now continue with the rationalization with radiobiology and radiation protection. So in the previous uploaded video, so na-rationalize ko na yung numbers 1 to 51. So we will continue now with numbers 52 to 100. Okay, so let us start. So number 52, which of the following consists of hematopoietic system? So hematopoietic system refers to a system in our body which are consist of organs and tissues, including the bone marrow. So this is correct, including the circulating blood, the spleen, and the lymphoid tissue. So these are involved in the production of the blood in the body. So this means that all are correct. So the hematopoietic system have three primary functions in the body, which is to deliver oxygen, hemostasis, and host defense, also for immune system. 53. When irradiated before pregnancy, the main concern is interrupted fertility. This is according sa kay Busyong. So before pregnancy, when the pregnant patient is exposed to radiation, so the main concern is interrupted fertility. And if the patient is irradiated during pregnancy, the concern includes possible congenital effects. So this is during. While for post-pregnancy or after pregnancy, if irradiated, the main concern is suspected genetic effects. So this is post-preg. Next, the maximum dose of radiation that would be expected to produce no significant radiation effect. So maximum dose na pwedeng ibigay sa isang tao wherein hindi siya kakikitaan ng significant radiation effects, that is maximum permissible dose. So maximum permissible dose. So from the name itself, so maximum permissible is allowed. So the maximum allowed dose, which will show no significant radiation effects to the irradiated person. MST refers to the mean survival time. So yung time from exposure to death. So this is mean survival time. ESE refers to entrance skin exposure. And DL for dose limits. Next, the weekly MPD for occupationally exposed person is 100 rem. 100 millirem. So, weekly MPD. So, before, ang gamit na term is MPD. Ngayon, pinalitan na siya ng dose limits. Next, a pregnant radiographer must have how many personal monitoring device? So, dapat dalawa. Isa sa pregnant radiographer and isa para sa fetus. So, for the pregnant radiographer, it should be at the collar outside the lead apron. So, first sa collar, outside the lead apron. So, sa level ng collar. Number 2, sa abdomen or sa abdominal area inside the lead apron. So, yung ito, number 1, para sa mother, para sa pregnant radiographer. So outside siya ng lead apron sa color level. And yung isa para naman sa fetus, so sa abdominal area, inside naman ng lead apron. Most lead aprons are 0.5 millimeters lead equivalent and provide about 90% attenuation at 75 kVp. So if we are using 75 kVp and our lead apron is 0.5 millimeters of lead equivalent, so it can attenuate as much as 90% of scatter radiation. Next, the following are the established protocol for radiography of the pregnant patient except so elective booking. So elective booking and 10-day rule is one and the same. Pareho lang sila. So yung 10 days before, 10 days after ng menstruation, yun yung ating 10-day rule or elective booking. So of course, kailangan din ng patient forms. So lahat sila tama. All are correct. As a rule of thumb, blank inch or inches of masonry is equivalent to 1/16 of an inch of lead. So that is about 4 inches. So usually this is the shielding thickness that we use for our X-ray facility. The following are used for secondary protective barriers except lead. So, we don't use lead for secondary barriers. So, ginagamit siya normally sa primary protective barriers. So, the gypsum board, calcium sulfate dehydrate, so they are used for secondary protective barriers. Very, very rare na gumagamit tayo ng lead for secondary protective barrier unless ganun kakayaman. So radiation are categorized as two primary and secondary radiation. So which of the following is considered primary? So the primary radiation is from the tube to patient. This is the primary. So X-rays from the tube towards the patient in forward direction. So X-rays from patient to IR, we call this the remnant radiation or the useful beam, useful radiation. X-rays escaping from the tube without passing the window, this is leakage. So this is useful or remnant. X-rays coming from the patient in all directions, this is scatter radiation. So useful leakage and scatter radiation, they are considered secondary radiation. Next, windows can be used in the X-ray room provided that the height is 2 meters from the floor of the adjacent room. So, pwedeng maglagay ng bintana sa loob ng X-ray room as long as yung height ng window must be at least 2 meters from the floor of the adjacent room. So, if this is the window, if this is the walls or the door, this is the floor of the X-ray room. So, this is the floor of the X-ray room. So, ito yung door. Ito yung floor ng adjacent room. So, pwede tayo maglagay ng window as long as 2 meters siya from here up to here. So, 2 meters. So, pwedeng maglagay ng bintana dito. Pero kapag dito galing, so, mas mataas syempre. So again, 2 meters from the floor of the adjacent room. Next, the use factor for secondary barrier is always, so according sa NCRP, the use factor for secondary barrier is always 1. The NCRP pala recommends that the walls will be assigned a use factor of 1/4. So this is walls. And then ang floor and secondary barrier. So, floor and secondary barrier. So, 1 siya. So, yan yung mga use factor. as recommended by the NCRP. So ginagamit siya for calculation of the shielding sa ating X-ray facility. Which of the following is not a personnel monitoring device? So this is a Geiger-Müller counter. So this is used for determining the background radiation during spills also. So GM counter ang gamit. Pero pag personnel, so OSL, optically stimulated luminescence, TLD or thermoluminescent dosimeter, and film badge, which is obsolete na ang film badge. Which of the following describe a lithium fluoride which of the following describe a lithium fluoride which is a widely used TLD material? So, lithium fluoride is the most widely used TLD material. Yes, correct. And dito na siya sa question. So, lithium fluoride has an atomic number of 8.2. So, this is correct. So, lahat ng 1 and 2. So, ito eliminate na. Wala na siya. Wala siyang 2. It has an X-ray absorption property similar to soft tissue. Yes, correct. So, 1, 2, and 3, wala na ito. Of course, walang 3 dito. So, eto na lang yung natitira. So, kahit hindi mo nabasahin yung last na choice. So, based on the elimination process, so you will be able to tell kung alin yung tamang sagot. Next, 66. So the blank provides a high degree of sensitivity by giving an accurate reading as low as 1 millirem for X-rays and gamma ray photons. So that is OSL. Main chain scission results to the following except so the main chain scission decreases viscosity and decreases size. Okay, kasi hinati niya or naputol yung ating chromosomes. So, except increase in size. So, tama rin ito. So, I don't know which is exactly the correct answer, but for me, sa palagay ko lang ha, ito yung kung ako yung tatanong, ito yung magiging answer ko. Kasi bakit pa ilalagay ito dito if pwede naman ito, di ba? So, parang confusing siya. Pero depende pa rin po sa inyo kung ano yung gusto nyo isagot. Kasi meron mga times sa board exam na may mga choices na ganito. Or minsan, ilalagay nila both B and C are wrong. So, parang mga ganon. So, it's very confusing. But for me, ito yung magiging answer ko. Which is, tama naman, pero tama din naman ito. So, sabi naman ng iba, so yung first correct answer, that is the correct answer. So, pwedeng ito rin naman. So, I don't know kung alin talaga yung tinatama kasi hindi naman natin mare-review yung sagot natin sa board exam, di ba? So, which of the following is considered as a stochastic? So, when we say stochastic, this refers to the late effects or effects that occur by law of chance. So, malignancy, like mga cancer. Which of the following does not minimize radiation dose to patient and staff? So, it does not minimize radiation dose to patient and staff if we limit the field size. Limit nga yung term niya, pero maximum naman. Diba? So, parang confusing siya actually, pero that is the correct answer. So, we can limit the dose to patient and staff if we use fast screen film, do optimal film processing, and use automatic exposure timers if available. So if you're going to use this, to utilize or employ this, we can be able to use lower technique factors which can decrease additional radiation dose to patient and staff. 70. In mobile radiography, which of the following is false? So exposure switch must be at least 2 meters long. That is correct. So sabi nga, we need to maintain a distance of at least 6 feet or 72 inches. The radiographer should stand in line with the primary beam. So this is wrong. So bakit ka naman tatayo dyan between the patient and the X-ray tube? So this is false. So chest PA projection is almost always not possible. Yes, because during mobile radiography, usually yung patient natin is nakahiga. Siyempre, kapag nakahiga yung patient, most likely nakasupine siya. So it would be difficult or posible naman, pero it would be difficult for the rad techs to perform PA projection sa mobile or sa ward radiography. Also, rad tech should inform that he is going to expose. So, minsan nag-a-announce tayo para yung mga staff na nasa loob ng ward, so lalabas sila or they will find something na pwede silang magtago, like magtago sa likod mo as a rad tech because nakasuot ka ng lead apron. Humans get the highest man-made source of radiation, so man-made source of radiation from medical sources. So man-made ha, pag natural, so radon of course. And also, if you are not familiar with the question, so parang i-group mo sila. So radon, cosmic, and UV. So lahat sila natural source of radiation. So next, 72 student radiographers are categorized as general public frequent. Next, it is the most critical target molecule, command and control, that is DNA. So mitochondria is referred to as the powerhouse of the cell. Pero may mga bagong studies pero hindi pa ako sure kung confirmed na yon or supported na ng ibang studies na hindi na daw mitochondria yung powerhouse of the cell. Pero since hindi pa naman siya well published or well announced, so mitochondria is still the powerhouse of the cell. Next, ideally, fluoroscopy is the domain of the radiologist. So ideally, dapat radiologist ang nag-ooperate nagpe-perform ng fluoroscopic procedures. Yung rad tech lang, yung taga-push ng button for exposure. What happens to cell or tissue sensitivity when irradiated under aerated condition? So when we say aerated, with the presence of oxygen or nasa aerobic state. So kapag na-expose yung ating cells or tissues with the presence of oxygen, so the sensitivity increases. So if you have remembered dun sa previous natin na video, yung ating ratio from numbers 1 to 51, so oxygen is considered a dose modifier because it increases the sensitivity of the tissue with its presence. 76, what will happen if there is a presence of oxygen during irradiation? So katulad din ng na-explain ko, it will increase the cell radiosensitivity. So minsan sa board exam, so parang niraramble lang question. So if you have noticed yung 75 and 76, so they are related or similar, pero iniba lang yung question and yung choices. 77, the minimum amount of lead equivalence. So minimum is 0.25. The most commonly used is 0.5. So ito yung common. Sorry. Ito yung common. And then ito yung minimum. Ito naman yung maximum. But the problem with 1 millimeter is that it weighs about 10 kilograms. Masyado siyang mabigat. So, compromise, ito yung kadalasang ginagamit. At low radiation doses, blank are considered to be the cellular radiation damage that results in the late, so ito yung ito yung keyword nyo, late radiation effects observed at the whole body level. So, lahat sila early effects kapag naka-receive ng mataas na doses, so pwedeng mangyari pwedeng mangyari agad-agad eto kapag higher ang dose. But since we're talking about late effects, so genetic damage. So parang stochastic siya. And also, keyword nyo din, low radiation doses. In ward radiography or sa mobile radiography, which of the following should a radiographer avoid? So stay away from the primary beam. So this is correct. Restrict the X-ray beam. Correct. Of course, we wear a lead rubber apron. Correct. Then, maintain a distance of at least 1 meter from the X-ray tube. So, ang tandaan nyo is, ang nakalagay dito, at least 1 meter. So, dapat, di ba, 72 inches, 6 feet, 180 centimeters or 1.8 meters. So, kay Busyong, sa bagong edisyon, 2 meters. So, masyado pang malapit yung 1 meter sa ward radiography. So, we should avoid this. So, dapat at least 2 meters or at least 1.8 meters. When using lead as shielding, the following are done except do not nail them. Yes, correct. Hindi natin ipinapako yung ating lead sheets. Make sure that each sheet overlaps one another. Yes, so dapat yung pagkakalagay niya is may overlapping na nangyayari. So do not use glue, instead nail them. So do not nail nga. So this is wrong na. So only A is correct. So this is false. Kasi yung B correct din. So except this one. So dapat ang recommended is i-glue siya and wag ipako. So letter C. 81. During fluoroscopic examination, which of the following is false? Staff should stand in the primary beam and as close to it as possible. So, ito false na. Okay? So, yun nga, hindi tayo tumatayo sa primary beam. Diba? Sabi natin, primary beam is from the tube to the patient. So, this is the primary beam. So, bakit ka naman tatayo dito? Diba? So, false na siya. So, tama ito. Lead rubber curtain should be used to reduce scatter. Field size must be smaller than the screen size. In mobile radiography, rad tech should be at least 6 feet away from the tube, which is also correct. Which of the following is true? As a rule of thumb, continuous radiation during fluoro is allowed. So, no, di ba? Dapat 5 minutes lang ang maximum exposure uh, hindi naman per exposure, 5 minutes per exposure. Required staff stays outside the room during X-ray procedures to avoid scatter. So, ito yung keyword nyo, required sila. Ibig sabihin, dapat nasa loob sila ng room. So, this is wrong. All staff must stand behind protective barrier during exposures if possible. Yes, this is correct. So, dapat magtago nga, di ba? Magtago sila, magtago tayo. Staff who must be outside the barrier are not required to wear lead rubber aprons. So, nasa labas sila ng barrier, so they are required. So, this is wrong. So, this is the correct answer. So, medyo analysis siya. Yung mga which of the following is true, which of the following is false, or all are true except, or all are false except. So, kailangan mong intindihin mabuti yung statements. Which among the following results to reduce patient dose? So, select appropriate grid. Yes. Kasi pag masyado namang mataas yung ating grid ratio, which is hindi naman siya ganun kakailangan, so it will increase patient dose because we need to use higher technique factors. Compress obese patient, yes, para mas maging thinner yung part. We don't need to use higher technique factors. Of course, we are required to perform basic quality assurance test to ensure na na functional pa yung machine natin, tama pa rin siya based sa selection ng ating technique factors ng KVP, ng MA, and time. So therefore, all are correct. Next, in an X-ray facility, if there are 5 rad techs, how many personnel monitoring device should be present? It should be plus 1. The plus 1 is for background radiation. So, dapat may pasobra lagi. Pasobra ng isa para sa background radiation. Optimization of protection is usually applied in which level? So, when we say optimization of protection, so this is where we use radiation protection, practices, and also mga devices na pwede natin gamitin or equipment or accessories to optimize the protection. Yung ating ALARA, yung ating cardinal principles that is under the optimization of protection. Design and construction, of course, yung mga shielding natin, installation of equipment, syempre, kung tama yung pagkakalagay natin ng equipment in relation sa darkroom, in relation sa walls and sa doors. Day-to-day procedure, yes, yung ating time, distance, and shielding, yung ating cardinal principle. So, all are correct. Which of the following consists the basic principles? So, basic principles, just like what we have discussed sa previous ration natin. So, basic principles includes justification of practices where the benefits must outweigh the risk. Mas more ang benefits compared sa risk. Yung optimization of practices, which include your ALARA or your cardinal principles. So, this is under optimization. And the third one is the dose limit. So, therefore, all are correct. So, yung ating ALARA naman, they are considered as cardinal principles. So, ALARA includes the cardinal principles, which is the time, distance, and shielding. So, minimize the time, maximize distance according to the recommended SID, and also maximize the use of shielding as long as it will not hamper, it will not cover the area of interest. The following are considered as deterministic effects of radiation except. So there are two effects, so deterministic and stochastic. Stochastic, so they occur by law of chance. So pwedeng mangyari, pwedeng hindi. Ito yung mga late effects natin. So the following are considered as deterministic except. So ito yung ating stochastic. So this is the correct answer. 88, the following describes stochastic effects except, so law of chance, nasabi ko na rin, can cause cancer, yes, yung mga malignancy, can also cause gene mutations or genetic effects, correct? So stochastic effect is not, so not dependent on radiation dose because it may occur, it may not. So depende kahit mataas yung dose mo, kung hindi siya mag-occur, mas okay. Minsan kahit gaano pa kaliit yung dose na na-receive mo, if mag-occur yung stochastic effects, so it will. So it will not depend on the dose received if we are talking about stochastic effects. So aluminum oxide is the main element of OSL. So TLD, lithium fluoride. So which of the among the following personal monitoring device is not reusable? That is film badge. Kapag nagamit na siya, na-process na siya ng PNRI, so sa Philippines yung PNRI ang may control ng ating film badge, sila din ang main supplier. So hindi na siya pwedeng gamitin, magsisend na lang ulit ng bago na namang film badge. PNRI stands for Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. 91. A room designed strictly for chest radiography has one wall with a use factor of 1. So, constant naman yan. In mammographic units, the filter material used are or is molybdenum and rhodium. So 3 and 4. So beryllium is used as a material sa window ng ating mammographic X-ray tube. Aluminum, ginagamit siya na filter sa ating general X-ray tube. Pero sa mammo, molybdenum or rhodium. If a barrier separates an examination room from an area occupied by the general public, then the shielding is designed so that the annual exposure in the adjacent area cannot exceed 1 millisievert per year. Radiation weighting factor is let dependent but is equal to 1 for all types of radiation used in medicine, which are X-rays and gamma rays. So ito, mga constant values sila. 95, if pregnant patient is accidentally exposed, the following procedures are followed except medical physicist estimate fetal dose. Yes, correct. Radiologist determines the stage of gestation. So, hindi lang radiologist. Also, the referring physician, yung physician ng patient, is also included when we determine the stage of gestation. So, this is wrong. Ito, correct din. Correct din. 96, as indicated by the personnel monitoring device positioned at the collar above or outside the lead apron, some radtechs receive doses in excess of 5 millisievert. So, meron daw ibang radtech na nag-exceed ng 5 millisievert per year, but kadalasan, radtechs receive less than 1 millisievert per year. So, very rare na mag-exceed ng 5 millisievert per year. The maximum amount of lead equivalence, so na I mentioned this already kanina, maximum that is 1 millimeter. Kaya lang hindi siya yung most common dahil nga masyado siyang mabigat. Which of the following statement is false? So maximize shielding to the area near the area of interest. So maximize shielding to the area near the area of interest. So, tingnan natin. Maximize distance as far away as possible. Minimize time to shorten patient exposure. Letter B is the correct answer. So, tingnan natin. Maximize shielding. Yes, this is recommended to the area of, hindi sa area of interest, but to the area near. So, this is correct. Maximize distance, ito yung ang nangyari, as far away as possible. So, hindi naman as far away as possible, baka 1 kilometro yan. So, dapat yung recommended lang na SID. So, 72 inches for vertical radiography and about 100 centimeter or mga 40 inches for tabletop. So, this is the correct answer. This is false. Minimize time, of course. Letter B is the correct answer. So, tama rin. So, yun nga, kung ako yung tatanungin, ito yung magiging sagot ko. Pero again, depende na rin sa inyo kung paano nyo siya i-reason out. So, which of the following would decrease patient dose? Chest PA for female patient, yes, para ma-minimize yung dose sa breast. Pelvis AP for male patient. So, ma-expose ng bonggang-bongga yung kanyang gonads. Ganon din sa gonads ng babae. Danelius-Miller method performed for male patient. So, mas ma-expose pa rin ng bonggang-bongga yung kanyang gonads. So, letter A, can reduce patient dose. Radiation workers are prone to experience this effect. So every day we are receiving low doses of radiation from the scatter radiation emitted by the patient. So low doses will result to stochastic effects. So C is the correct answer. So that's it for our rationalization for numbers 52 up to 100. So stay tuned ulit kayo for uploading of other practice tests and also the succeeding rationalization. So thank you everyone and good day.